first 1, 2, 3 from you.
1, 2, 3.
And then I need to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
I was gonna tell a pizza joke, but I thought it was too cheesy.
I had a piece of joke.
I got
No
you.
doubt.
All right. We are here with the infamous immortal Adlai Trone.
I'll take it down.
And sir, as I said, every podcast starts with a joke. So Mr. Trone, tell me a joke.
Okay. Did you hear the rumor about the butter?
The rumor about the butter.
I didn't either. I can't spread it though.
You came with one. You came with one.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
All right.
I love two jokes.
I got a couple. Ooh, I had them. It's pretty simple though.
Okay.
Why did the golfer bring 2 pair of pants?
He had a hole in one.
He had a hole in one.
I finally remember one.
You got one.
Give me another one. Give me another one.
What did the boss do when he walked in the bar?
What?
Ordered everybody around.
That's a good one. I'm gonna remember those. I'm gonna remember those for my next podcast.
All right, let me go and give you one more.
All right,
this is a city council
home.
joke.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So the city council passed the bill to remove all of the U-turn signs. What happened next?
What?
Ain't no turning around.
Sir, you win. That was good. That was real good. Now, as I talk to you on the phone, right?
Yes.
You know, you have hella name recognition, hella, people know your story, this and the other, but it's a few that don't, right?
No doubt, indeed.
It's 1 or 2 that don't.
It's more than that.
I got you. So, before we get to part 2, I want to start with this. I'm going to change the screen. I want y'all to look at that man, right? This brother is one of the best athletes of our generation, of our time. I'm talking about picking up a ball, any ball, and just being a hella athlete. Man, you have been amazing. You've been an athlete. You've been a financial advisor. You're in education. But I want you to tell your story your way. And, you got to start with mama and them siblings in church.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And tell us about the little boy that became the big boy that became the man,
Yes, sir. And it's an amazing story, actually. To be honest, man. I grew up in the Fairview neighborhood, and there's a couple of things. Well, my peer group, they know. But my mother, my hero, she is amazing. But she was extremely passionate about introducing us into different things,
Yeah.
From the Boys and Girls Club. She actually, and I kind of hate this, but there was a time period where she tried to make me play the piano, and I was forced to go to a couple of piano lessons. And
But look, I got to interrupt.
Okay.
Our parents were so intentional, though.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I was the same way. Please keep going. But yeah, our parents were intentional about making sure they were deliberate.
Yes.
Yeah.
She at least wanted to make sure that I was introduced to whatever she was introduced to, or thought that it would be a good fit, because, and again, I was a young man with a lot of energy. I've always had a lot of energy, but from baseball, football at Central Park, My mother would drop me off at football and baseball practice and take my sisters to dance class at Corky Bell in Fairfield.
Yeah.
And she'll pick me up on the way coming back in.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
You know, I was a Boy Scout.
Yep.
You know, I kind of resent not going to get my Eagle Scout.
Me too.
But, you know, I was able to get a lot of merit badges.
we were exposed to
it.
Yeah.
And those things come in handy now because they help solve problems.
That's right.
You know, the Boys and Girls Club.
That's right.
You know, we went to the Boys and Girls Club.
Yep. I was at the Y.
At the Y. Yeah. And, you know, but you were involved with other young people and there were a lot of activities after school and during the summer.
And it was all family-based. Family, our parents all knew each other.
Trust-oriented.
Yeah, trust-oriented.
Yes.
Your parents could whoop me, my parents could whoop you. That's just how that went.
It happened.
It happened.
And we could do that even in the neighborhood. We did live those stories where if I act up Miss Grace's house, Miss Grace will whoop me and send me home. And call my mother and tell her what happened. And it wasn't no jumping on Miss Grace. Guess who was getting jumped on?
That's right.
When I walked behind that door, what are you doing embarrassing us? So, and I got my discipline at that time as well. So it was two. It was times two. But I appreciate that tough love, you know, now looking back. But again, man, my athleticism came from my mom just introducing me to all kind of activities. A lot of people don't know, I was a state swim champion that represented BPR when I'm 6, 7, 8, 9.
I absolutely believe it. Didn't know it, but I mean, I'm serious, man. You're an athlete, bro.
No doubt. And I appreciate that. Because it came easy, but at the same time, my experience participating, because a lot of people don't know, I was removed from high school football. So my Auburn story kind of resonates really from my youth upbringing.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know, basically, me leaving Ensley High School and going to Hewitt-Trussville was a culture shock. And I didn't know how to handle myself playing the sports that I wanted to be a part of. So I excluded myself a very important year, which was my 10th grade year. Okay. But the lesson that I learned, and this is a quality that, you know, a lot of people don't know in terms of my drive and my passion and my motivation. I actually quit football my 10th grade year. And when I felt comfortable going back my 11th grade year, my coach taught me a hard lesson. He didn't let me touch the field. And he told me, he said, you quit last year, you gotta earn your way back on the field. And, you know, even talking to people now, I'm forced to tell that story because it does go over into talking about politics. When people ask me certain questions with politics, and you'll see how that resonate and come around. But I did not get a chance to see the field my 11th grade year. So I did see the field my 12th grade year, but I was kind of behind. I had the tools, I had the heart, I had the discipline, I had the focus, but I was still kind of raw in a lot of areas. But however, you know, I earned my spot and I played my 12th grade year, and it afforded me the ability to go and live my dream. I didn't have a dream of going to the NFL. My dream was going to Auburn and playing at Auburn University. And I have the pictures that resonate because when we played at Central Park, I'm a member of Central Park Wolverines. We're a pretty dynamic group. It's a couple of guys around the area that people hear about. Michael Jordan, Omar Young, Brad and Chad, Brian Purnell. It's a lot of individuals that are key individuals that are around the city that do some dynamic things, but that was plugged into us with what I say Central Park Wolverines. But when I would take off my Central Park jersey, guess what I would have up under my shoulder pad?
That old ugly orange and blue.
That ugly orange and blue. And you're right, but I had it on.
Yeah.
When I went to school, because, you know, we could go to school and public school, we can wear what we like to wear. I had an Auburn day. It was a day that I was going to wear something dealing with Auburn at least one day out of the week. And that was during my grade school. So I'll say, man, when I got to Auburn, they gave me the opportunity to walk on. I never thought I would see the field because of the level of competition. Like when I first got to Auburn, Steve Davis was the starting running back. Pat Nix, he was the starting quarterback. Fred Beasley was the fullback. You had Tyrone Goodson. I did come in with Takeo Spikes, which was probably one of the most elite athletes that I've ever been around. But my goal was to make sure that when I set foot on that practice field the first day, I said, before I leave here, I'm going to starve for an entire year. And that's exactly what happened.
Man.
So that is my athletic story. But once, because there was a lot of perseverance to go through that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a walk-on. I'm a true walk-on.
Right.
I walked on. You know, you don't hear that name too popular anymore.
I walked on and didn't make it through the summer.
It was tough.
Yeah.
And they treat you like a stepchild.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you eat last.
Yeah.
You really have to go through the ranks of proving yourself and earning a position. But I'm not gonna lie, man. When I got down to Auburn and I started seeing the lights, my practice field was my game, and that's how I treated it. And it helped my work ethic because I practiced like that was my Jordan Hare moment. And then I was playing with elite athletes. And you know, my first year, I was scout team player of the week every week. Every week, because coach would mention.
Now see, that's strong right there.
And that's what got me. And I was going against the elite athletes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, the class that I came in with was a very dynamic class. We had Mr. South Carolina, we had Mr. Florida. We had some great athletes from Alabama. Takeo Spice came from Georgia. Robert Baker. I mean, I can go through and name some guys that were really just unique. But when we went against each other, I was on the winning end a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I turned coaches' heads and they were like, whoa, we got a diamond that we didn't even go and get.
Right.
And man, during my perseverance, you know, it wasn't even about starting. I looked for that position that I could fit in and have an impact, and it was special teams. And it was kickoff. And they put me on the wing, and I was a small guy, but I brought it. You know what I mean? Every ounce. And my closest friends, they were 6'4", 240. And when I looked at them, I felt like I was looking in the mirror. So a lot of times I thought I was that big. I wasn't that big.
Right.
But my heart was.
Yeah.
And it ended up proving its point. Like, and my thing was special teams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the first down the field. And if
whoever in front of you,
if it come my way,
wedge buster.
Nah, I went no. I was smart now. No, I go across that end and scrape that block. Beat him in front of the 25, and then we got to play.
Yeah.
And my first game, man, it was amazing because I was redshirted my first year, but we had the opportunity to play UAB in 1996. That was the first game of the year playing UAB. And one of my best friend's father, he was the only one that was, because he loved UAB, Mr. Holiness. And Mr. Holiness was there. And I want to say I got 2 tackles, but I know I got 1. And he was like, that's my boy. That's my boy. And the rest was history. It made me a believer. And then it built a level of confidence within me that, yeah, this dream is accomplishable. You know what I mean? I can achieve it. And again, the rest is history. But what no one knows, during that downtime, I would go and swim. And that swimming gave me the explosiveness to compete. And no one ever knew that, but that came back from Harris Pool when I was a state swim champ. And no one knew my recipe for success, but I would go and swim. And that explosion, I was able to carry over to the football field, and it made me pretty good.
I couldn't stop you.
I got
That was such a great story. So we go hold there with the football. We go with the history story. And we gonna move on. I want to fast forward to your financial career. Now, I was thinking about this statement on the way over here to talk to you, right? I was like, you know more about finances than I do, but you're a stout Democrat.
I like to resonate with it being independent. But
independent. Okay. We'll say independent. Now, I was a hardcore activist for a while. By as Republican as it can be.
Right.
And that just shows a lot of range in both of us and dynamic. But I bring it up because, that was your career for a minute and you excelled in it. And, I think people forget that. And I think, it's something that you bring to the table in a lot of ways that people aren't realizing where that comes from. So talk about that financial lane you were in for a while.
Indeed. And let me go back. And I have to say, it really resonates around being a student athlete and a walk-on, because most players that play at the collegiate level, particularly now, or even then, it was NFL, 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 or
That's
league.
Right. That's right.
And most athletes are one track. But me being a walk-on, I had to be a true student athlete. So my ticket wasn't, when it was discussed, what is your profession going to be? I was always great with numbers. And I recall, I actually, and this does go back to setting up a story, but I graduated when eligibility left. I graduated they were like, this dude is really smart. In fact, that's how I got on the field. Coach Tuberville came to me and he said, when he first got there, he said, Trone, free safety. I said, Coach, I'm a corner. He said, if you want to get on the field, you're going to gain 15 pounds and be my free safety.
Say less.
Say less. Easy. But I say that because next thing you know, I'm in grad school. So after doing my research in grad school, it's kind of like, what's next?
Right.
Well, it said when you get your MBA, then you're supposed to start off making 85 and better. And I was looking for what was going to be my career journey. And I discovered the financial planning role. And I did research and it resonated with me. Number one, I like helping people. Number two, money has always been a passion of mine. And number three, I just love numbers. And that was my equation all the way through it. I was good at math all the time. So next thing you know, I'm graduating. I got my MBA. What's next? Well, it's time to go off into the real world. I got these relationships with NFL players. I am going to be a financial planner. I moved to Atlanta. I took my Series 7 the first time and I passed. A lot of people don't do that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember, for whatever reason, you remember some things. I remember it was a big deal because Bertis and I were talking about it, that you passed it and the first time.
The first time.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, now there's a lot of training that's involved. And I never knew that living my dream would consist of being a financial planner. And I can go back to you. You asked me one day a long time ago, this was maybe around 2005. Your question was, if you could live your dream job, what would it be? And my answer to you was, I'm living my dream job.
You sure did.
Being a
I remember that.
planner.
I don't remember the scenario, but I do remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, it is so important. My boss at that time told me, and this was a confidence builder, because I was intimidated to a certain degree, me being a young black man in a field surrounded by professionals that don't look like me. How would I succeed? And the grit, the grind, and once I connect with passion. When the passion is there, that's what I set foot. And then a lot of people say, man, you decide the most difficult things to be a part of, and that's what you go after. Where did they come from? It really just God led. But man, we cold call. I mean, there wasn't a such thing as an off day. There wasn't
hold on, hold your thought. Hold your thought.
Okay.
When you say though that you have a real spirit of competition, you know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that part of it?
A part of success within that field?
Staying in it and going for it and the grind. I'm saying part of that was part of your competitive spirit. I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna give up. I'm just asking if that was part of that.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. That's it. Yeah. Like everything within me. When I quit that one time, that 10th grade year, when I got
there it is.
When I quit,
You ain't never quit since.
I have never quit anything that I've committed to since then.
Mm.
And it's because of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, seeing it through. So to be honest, no matter how hard it get, I'm gonna see it through.
Yeah.
Unless something else comes up and I'm guided along another path, I'm gonna see it through. It's because of that. And that has happened so long ago. At this particular point, I don't see it going anywhere. That's just a part of my character, and that is who I am.
Without talking about the normal, I think you told your story pretty well, sir. So let's move on. You agreed
with this financial planning? Okay.
It's time to move.
Okay.
It's time to go. We good.
I'm with you.
All right. Now, you agreed to a one question interview, but it's such a big question.
Indeed.
And I think here again, going back to people know you, right? You know, you've been in the game. It all boils down to this right here, right now, the moment, the year, the time, your age, your maturity, your wisdom, your growth. You know, I have questions when people run for a city council, a mayor, you know, different offices. And people wonder, do you just want to be in office? Or do you know what you want to do, right? And so I think that your resume is strong, and you know that is what it is. I think that that's the question: is this your time, right? And what's different about other times? Is this your time, and why?
What I've learned in this journey is that ultimately it's up to the people that I am holding myself to be a servant to. And that's not for me to answer. What is for me to do is to present myself and let them know that I'm the best candidate. And I've never approached an election, and this is my fourth time running. I've never approached an election that way. And I think it comes with the maturity. I think it comes with the gray hairs. It's not for me to determine if it's my time. It's for the people to determine that. And one thing that I've learned is that I'm comfortable with the people's voice. There is a level of maturity that is different from other times, but I really believe in the people's voice. Something that I learned a long time ago is to take myself out because I participated in so many team functions. So I like to take I out of the equation. And if you notice this, you notice about me, and people tell me all the time, I don't talk about myself enough. I don't tell my story enough. I've conditioned myself to be in that because it's not about me. This isn't about me. I'm offering myself to serve. It's about a district with 23,000 individuals that live in this district. It's about them. I know this district because this district is where I'm born and raised. This is where I'm from. These are the streets that created the character of who I am. And I feel that it's important for me to give back. That's why I teach. That's why I like to educate young people, because there was a Dale Jones and an Abe at the swimming pool that poured into Lil Marcel, me, Adlai Trone. There was a scoutmaster, Mr. Whitaker, that spent time with us to take us in the woods for 7 days and teach us how to tie a knot or to create a fire without a match. There was a Mr. Orton at Fairview Elementary School that if I was acting up in class, he would get me straight because he said I was too smart to be acting out of character and behavior, and I need to be attentive in class where I can sit down. And I can go through with a Lily Hawkins, a Miss Grace, a Mr. and Mrs. Tarver, a Mary Tarver. And I'm not talking about Adlai and Teresa Trone. I'm talking about a community that poured into me. So who am I not to give back to what has given to me? And at some point, something will happen, but it's on God's time and it's God's speed. And I'm comfortable with that. But I know it's a priority for me to present myself. Sometimes I don't know if I'm leading and I'm stepping up or it's just everybody stepping back. But I'm willing to put myself, it's been so much poured into me that I appreciate for my neighborhood that I'm willing to hold myself out for public service, to guide or be a face to try to make the conditions better than what they were yesterday. And I'm willing to be that individual and I'm willing to step out for that. But ultimately, it's not my decision to decide. It's the people's decision.
Therefore, I have one more question. When you win, what type of counselor will you be? Will you be supportive of the mayor? Will you be critical of that budget? Will you be focused on the district? You know, like what kind of counselor would people be looking at?
Ideally, the kind of counselor that I hold myself out to be, number one, neighborhood presidents. Governor leading by their voice, not by my voice, but by the neighborhood president's voice. Being a neighborhood president, I understand the value of the system. Ideally, yes, working with the mayor is a priority because that's the only way you can get something done. But the voice of the constituents that I will represent is the most important voice that exists for my leadership. Not rubber stamping a budget just to go along to get along, but being critical of issues and making sure that resources are dispersed to the proper channels to echo whatever that neighborhood president voice is collectively. And ideally, a servant leader that's for the people that I represent in my district.
What words in closing do you have? I like to give people a chance to do shout outs. I forgot to bring ups, close it. What haven't we talked about that you'd like to, what I would you like to dot and what T would you like to cross?
Just to be honest, at this particular point, it's a tremendous opportunity to be in a position to be a candidate, to represent the voice of Birmingham. One thing that I truly love is the city of Birmingham. I was born at Cooper Green Hospital. I was raised on the west side, and I have grown up to really believe that this is the magic city. And it's magic because of the people. It's magic because of what was done in the 60s, the foot soldiers. We changed the world in terms of how they treat race and civil rights and how individuals look at each other. And the Magic City should be highlighted. It should be known that this is a special place. And to be in this seat, to be a candidate, just to represent is truly an honor. And I don't take it lightly. And the most important thing is I respect the collective voice of the city of Birmingham. And that's how I would like to close.
Well, that ain't how you gonna close.
That ain't how I'm gonna close.
No, you gonna close, sir, by looking right here in this camera. Your district is looking at you. Talk to them and ask them for their vote.
District 8, my name is Adlai Trone. And I'm holding myself out to be a candidate to represent District 8 on the city council for the city of Birmingham. I am the best candidate because I am a servant leader that is willing to work hard, be committed and dedicated to building and developing the best district that is not only in the city of Birmingham, but the state of Alabama. We have major assets in the Crossplex, Rick Wood Field, Legion Field, and the development of those, we actually have our own Western sports district. And I'm committed to making sure that our streets are clean, that our voices are heard, and that our young people are taken care of and in safe spaces. And more importantly, our seniors have the quality of life that they deserve to live in their stages of retirement. On August 26th, vote Adlai Trone to represent District 8 for the city of Birmingham. Thank you for your ear and thank you for the opportunity.